Hi, and welcome back to the Gift Guide podcast. I'm Gianna, and today I'm interviewing Elaine, the amazing mind behind Miscellaneous. Thanks for being here.
I'm very excited. It's very cozy in here if you can't be here.
I know, I love this little fireplace. It's just creates all of the Christmas vibes. So let's just dive in. How did you get started with Miscellaneous and your Instagram account?
Sure. So I graduated UR and I got a job in Richmond and I didn't know much about the city. So it was kind of bold. And I would say the first few years, I wasn't a huge fan. Like, I definitely didn't imagine something like this. I didn't imagine where I am now because I just didn't love Richmond as a city. It was something where I knew what to do to an extent, but I was bored easily. All my friends were in bigger cities. The pandemic hit, and that kind of, I guess, slowed my process of moving out. And so I had two choices: either, like, continue to be kind of grumpy about being here just because I couldn't figure out what to do, or kind of deep dive. And so I ended up kind of saying, what is there really else to do? Because I'm going to leave. I want to feel like I've covered all my tracks and maybe I haven't explored it fully. Then we're here now because I've explored it and I have an Instagram that explores Richmond on a daily through a small business lens. And I have really loved my time here now. So the inspiration was really from a place of frustration, living here, not knowing what to do. And then all of a sudden getting to the point where not only do I love it, but I actually want to talk about it with other people.
It's so wonderful because I feel like when I moved to Richmond for a little over 4 years ago, I felt like you were such a great resource to help me fall in love with Richmond too. And I think so many people have found that in your account. It's really just so expansive.
It's been fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
How long have you lived in Richmond?
I've been here since 2013, when I first was a freshman at UR. So a little over 10 years, it feels like. But
Yeah,
once you graduate, especially being in the little bubble that we are located in, that's when I really feel like I got to know the city or started to get to know the
totally.
city.
That's awesome. And so today we're here talking about Christmas and New Year's. And so I'd love to know, what are your favorite Richmond Christmas traditions?
A great question. I feel like as more and more events actually pop up, I start to find new traditions. I mean, there's some classics like going to a local garden and getting a fresh Christmas tree, which I is a new tradition for myself. Shout out to Azalea Gardens. I love them. I think another easy one is just doing all of the different Christmas house tours, whether it's in Churchill or it's my favorite, the Fan and Museum District. It's probably one of the only chances you'll get to go into those beautiful homes too. So it's just a two for one. They're already stunning places to be. And then they have all their best decor out. So I think it really gets me in the spirit. And so that's like one of my favorite things to do.
Tell me a little bit more about that because I didn't realize you could go into the houses.
So some of them allow you to, some of them it is just more of an exterior tour from the sidewalk, but you can always book them through the museum district. They have a website and as well as the Churchill Christmas tours. And so it's just a lot of fun. I know this past weekend they did the candlelight tour, which is a pretty neat way to just walk past all the homes. And so there were carolers. We all held a candle, and it was from Chimborazo all the way to Libby Hill Park.
Oh, wow. That's a nice long walk. You
Yeah.
get to see a lot.
Yes.
I love that. Is there like a must do for someone trying to maximize their holiday festivities in Richmond?
Sure. I think it's a culmination of two things. It's gonna be number one, I think you really can volunteer for some of the neat, unique local Christmas centric volunteer opportunities. So the easiest one is RVA community fridges. They always have like come bake with the community and cook fresh meals, and then they'll have some specific, again, holiday inspired ones that I think are really, really special. And again, you're doing something like, decorating cookies. You're doing the check boxes of, okay, it's Christmas time, or just, again, the general holiday spirit activity. But like you're doing it for a good cause. So it's almost a two for one there. And then I would say, usually after I volunteer or I'll like bring a few friends over, then we go to the classic like Christmas holiday pop-up bars. And they're tough to get into, but there are so many new players this year or places that have decorated the space and they have new menus that I think you should try some of the newest ones because that's how you get in. You don't have to wait for lines as long, etc.
Yeah, I think is it Miracle on Carry that is the one that you have to get there, like, right when they open?
Yes, and I'm usually standing in line by 4:30, so it's a tough one.
Yeah, but I've heard that the milk and cookies are really worth it too.
Yes, it's super fun, and there's nothing that spikes your joy like a Jasper drink.
Yeah, I love that. And so, as we kind of move past the holidays, we're thinking about New Year's. Are you someone who likes to go out or stay in? What's your New Year's Eve vibe?
Okay, so I think last year was the last year I go out. I still go to bingo every once in a while. For those who follow me, they know. And I think last year when we like stood for over an hour, that was my moment where I had my time. Plus, I'm literally just turned 30, so I was like, okay, this is the time to start throwing more of like house parties or just have my friends come over. And we still have that local element. We always get local liquor, so whether it's like Cirrus or Reservoir, we try and stock the bar locally. So we're still out there with Richmond. We're connected, but maybe not at a bar anymore.
I like that. So you're kind of bringing the outside Richmond world inside. And so you get that cozy vibe, but you also get to support local small businesses.
Yes.
Is there anywhere where you get food from for your party for New Year's that you could recommend?
Yeah. So I'm a sucker for Yellow Umbrella. I think anything that is like quick grab and go is just perfect. I'm a huge fan of their cannoli dip specifically. It's $8 and it's literally the best little pieces of cannoli with a delicious filling as a dip. And I probably buy like all of them, whatever's on the shelf. And then because anything that's not used, I'm gonna eat myself.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds delicious and also probably a little bit easier to take with you to a place if you're not hosting. That's a really great, like, little gift to bring to
Yes.
share.
Yes. Nothing's easier than something that is, as you said, like easy, convenient, and I'm done with it at the end of the night.
Yeah.
No dishes.
You don't have to worry about having the individual cannolis like cracking and breaking, and also probably easier to eat.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it's just I haven't met someone who hasn't liked them yet. So we love a good successful treat that you bring.
That's amazing. So, you like to spend New Year's Eve in. Do you have any New Year's Eve traditions that you do every year with your friends?
Hmm. I'm not sure that we have any specific ones, but something again that we like to do is just kind of challenge each other to bring something fun, like in the potluck style. So I have a lot of friends who like to cook, and they always bring more, almost like New Year, new recipe. So a lot of people
Ooh.
just try something new, and I think that's really fun part of ringing in the new year is just someone's like, okay, I tried this. I've always wanted to do a puff pastry. I'm like, wow,
Let's do
yeah,
it.
and it always tastes good. So
That's awesome. I love the idea. New year, new recipe. That's like really pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but especially with friends, that's really fun to do it
oh yeah.
that way. And are you a resolutions kind of person?
I am. I think nothing's more exciting than having a list or something to visually say, okay, this is what I'm going to accomplish. However, I kind of like the trends of reels and TikToks where they're like, I have a champagne bottle for each month. And like when I like am able to accomplish something, I'll pop that. Or again, something that again is just a little more, I think, tangible and fun to celebrate than just having a hard list. You look at it and then by January 31, you're defeated because you hadn't touched any of them. So I think I definitely make resolutions, but I think I want to put more of that fun physicality to it, whether it's getting to open something when I accomplish a task or kind of interlocking it with more of an experience than just like a, oh, I want to do this. And it's something that if I don't do, I won't actually be that disappointed versus like, oh, wow, I didn't get to do that in February. And that's so disappointing. So it like, it's just motivating because it's a more fun goal to have
Yeah.
to do something as my resolutions than just like, oh, I hope to save $100 each month.
That's a really creative way to make sure that you're bringing in that celebration throughout the year because I feel like a lot of the January blues kinds of comes around because of the fact that you've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then all of a sudden you're just left with the resolutions and no energy. And so creating those little landmarks throughout the year helps you celebrate all year long and kind of keep that top of mind.
I agree. And yeah, one of my friends actually was the one who was just like, oh, I'm actually going to do more of like bucket list resolutions. And she was like, okay, I would really like to do an 8 mile hike. I know that I have to be healthier to do that. So, like, it's not necessarily her goal is to be healthy, even though that is the underlying, like, reason to even be able to accomplish something like an 8-mile hike. But she does, again, these more experiential, fun things that she knows she'll have to work towards. I'm like, oh, that's so much better than, again, like saying, I'm going to run a mile once a week. And that just doesn't sound very
Doesn't
fun.
sound yeah, no, that
But
doesn't
if I
sound
can
fun to me.
accomplish an 8-mile hike in under 4 hours in 2 months, like, okay, that's a little more fun to work towards. And then
Yeah.
have your pick at the top, etc.
That's amazing. I love that. And this is something that I know just from following you that you have a polar plunge coming up soon. So, can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So Virginia Polar Plunge is a great cause. It helps the Special Olympics Virginia specifically. We have 2 plunges coming up. One is actually this coming weekend, Sunday, December 14th. We'll be at Pocahontas State Park. That one's tough because you actually walk down like a boat ramp and you can go as slow or fast as you want. But like there's something that actually is even colder than the beach waves, which sounds crazy because like I think there's so much adrenaline with the waves and like there's, music and there's over like 2 or 3,000 folks. So it's a
Wow.
very different energy. At Pocahontas State Park, it's very tranquil and
Okay.
there's nothing else like almost distracting you from you and that river or
And you're jumping in,
area.
right? You're not
You can do either
going?
or. You
Okay.
can walk down the ramp or you can walk kind of slowly in and then kind of plop yourself in a sense, like a baby cannonball. But I don't know what I'll choose to do this year, but it's going to be really fun. It's always really fun. I know there's another shiver in the river too. So there's just a lot of opportunity to get in the water when it's cold as can be for a good cause.
I think Virginia Beach is February,
Yes.
correct? Yeah, I was just looking at that the other day and I'm tempted. I don't know. We'll see if we can get if I can get down there.
We heard it here first. We'll see you in Virginia Beach.
We'll see. We'll see. Do you do that one every year too?
Yeah, so that's the one I usually do every year. And then the Pocahontas State Park is new. Last year was my first year. It was 60 degrees and it was great.
Beautiful.
And this year it's going to be like 40s and a lot more polar. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
I feel like we're right in the middle of the East Coast where it's like could be beautiful, could be frigid.
Yes.
You just don't know.
Yes. So might as well make it as polar as can be. Because I will say last year didn't feel as real of a challenge just because everyone got out of the water. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I dried off in 5 minutes. Like this time around, I do think we will be needing excess heaters, blankets,
Yeah.
and really say we earned it for Special Olympics.
That's awesome. And so do you have a fundraising link that you're working towards?
I do. I posted it on my page. You can find it on my Instagram. It'll be in my bio. And yes, everyone is trying to at least raise $25, but that's just more to be able to participate. And then usually all of us have at least a goal of 150. So we're about halfway.
Wow, that's so awesome. I feel like that's such a great cause to support and, help the Virginia Special Olympics while doing something really fun and out of your comfort zone.
Yes, for sure.
I don't like being in cold water, but we'll see if I can get there.
It's apparently healthy for you. I have not been convinced. But that's okay.
Oh, well, is there anything else that you would like to tell our listeners about Richmond during the holidays?
I would say, again, I would really focus on folks volunteering locally. I think people, especially whether it's this year or any kind of type of point where you're like, okay, I haven't done enough for the year. And, this is the big holiday season where folks almost are asking from all different directions what to do. And all you have to do is slow down and say, what matters to you, whether it's more of like on the kids side of things, whether it's like feeding a community, et cetera, because there are all those different opportunities. And I think from there, just remembering that you're literally helping a neighbor, like when you do it at the local level. So you are impacting someone who lives here as well. And I think there is nothing that is more special than like being able to meet them or getting to, again, see your impact affect a neighborhood next door or even somewhere even closer to you than you think.
That's so wonderful. And I think that it's really nice to be able to give your time because, sometimes budgets are tight, especially around this time of year. So, your time is a really great asset that you can donate. And it's so great to have that meaningful impact when you're there live.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Elaine. We will be dropping some links for the things that we talked about in today's podcast. Thank you for joining us today.